Larry Franchimon here, Training Director for Travis Industries. I'm here to introduce you to the brand new medium-sized cast iron wood stove from Lopi called the Rockport. Medium size at 2.15 cubic feet, 20-inch log capacity, our outstanding clean burning hybrid fire technology, bypass for easy startup, single air control, and a large ash pan for easy maintenance. Today we're going to walk you through some of the details on the product, show you how it's built, how it goes together, some details and inside so you have a clear understanding of the construction. They're going to completely walk you through operation and maintenance on the appliance. As you can see, this Rockport's been installed for approximately a week. During that time, you can see that we've got a little bit of ash and some soot buildup on the glass, but very minimal because this does burn extremely clean at 0.8 of a gram. What I want to show you now is basic maintenance on the catalyst and ash removal. Keep in mind when it comes time to remove that ash out of the ash pan, make sure there aren't any coals, and just in case there are, make sure that we put it into a metal canister to avoid any accidental fires. This stove has got a little bit of time burning, and we've got a little bit of ash accumulation in the firebox. One thing that's beautiful inside this appliance, as we showed you the interior and some of the construction techniques, is the slope of the bottom of that firebox and how everything tapers down to that large grate leading to the ash pan. I'm going to use my particular fire poker, not the one supplied, and you can simply just rake it down to the grate itself. And what we'll do is we'll get all the ash out of there, but we'll leave all the unburnt coals. So we're not going to waste any of that energy. We'll be actually able to retrieve it and use that to help on the first fire. And of course, one thing that I like about wood stoves is they always do seem to burn a little better with a little bit of ash in there anyways. Now that I've got the ash going down to the ash pan, I'm going to open the ash pan drawer and pull it out. Now, as you can see, the ash pan's right there, and you can see the ashes that's accumulated. You want to make sure you keep an eye on this. If the ash is too full in the pan, you will scrape some of that ash off into the belly of the product, and you may have to clean that out to get the ash pan back in properly. When you go to remove the ash pan, I always recommend a pair of leather gloves, just because of the fact that during the heating months, this may not cool down all the way and this still can be hot. So you want to make sure you have a pair of leather gloves. We do provide some with the appliance, not this particular set. With these tabs on the outside, you can pick that up and then pull that ash pan forward and out. And like I mentioned before, make sure you dispose of your ash in a non-combustible container or deliver it directly outside wherever you may be depositing it. Now we're going to show you how to do basic maintenance on the catalytic combustor. Of course, it doesn't hurt that you can easily remove it if need be, but other than that, you can just do some basic light maintenance with the supplied brush that comes with the hardware pack of the appliance. As you can see the catalyst in the shot, take the soft bristle brush and you can sweep right across it and brush any ash accumulation that may be on the front. Granted, that won't remove any fly ash in the back. If you do need to remove it, remove the baffle, open the bypass, and then you can slide your hand up in there and push the catalyst out and drop it down for any extended maintenance or ash removal behind the catalyst itself. Another tip I'd like to give you is anytime you're cleaning on the inside of the appliance, whether you're scraping ash through the grate into the ash pan or working on the catalytic combustor, it's a good idea to open that bypass. That'll create a natural draft and a lot of that ash will just go up the chimney rather than come back into your home. Before we fire this appliance up, we're going to go ahead and just give you a little bit of an overview. We're going to get a kindling fire going with the green start ignition system, load the appliance up, get it up to temperature, monitor the catalyst with our catalytic temperature probe and the reader. Then we'll go ahead and close the bypass and we'll show you how the appliance operates at the different burn rates and how clean the glass stays. One thing to point out is we're using the screen start ignition system on the Rockport. It is very similar to the Evergreen in the location and the fact that the igniter outlet is higher than what we see in other appliances. Because of that, as you can see it's a little higher, we're going to make sure that we pile our kindling a little taller to make sure that it gets in front of the outlet for the igniter so we get good, quick response on that ignition time. I finished placing the kindling in front of the igniter outlet. Next thing we want to do is make sure that we open the bypass and also go to the air control that's located on the bottom left-hand side. With this, in is closed, out is the open position. So I want to make sure that we have both the controls pulled outward so that they're open. Now that the fire is started, we're going to go ahead and do a reload. Now, normally I would put my kindling fire in front of the igniter outlet, as well as put smaller wood at the same time so that it automatically ignites the bulk of the fire. We didn't do that this time just so we could show a better camera angle of the ignition process. So now that the bypass is still open, my air control's open, I'll open the door handle. And you can see that draft's really nice. There's absolutely no smoke spillage coming out that door. And then we're now going to go ahead and load our cordwood in. Now, one thing that we're going to do is, because it's a catalytic stove, it comes with a catalytic probe and a temperature monitor. So as you can see right now, it's reading 200, right around 195, 200 degrees. And it's going to measure the direct temperature of the catalyst up in the combustion system. Once it reaches 500 degrees, we're going to go ahead and close the bypass, and then we can regulate the air control to whatever our desired burn rate is going to be. So we're going to go ahead, let this fire go. We're going to monitor our cat, get it up to that 500 degree temperature, and then we'll do a reload and show you how the system burns in operation. We show it burning here in a high rate. I'm going to go ahead and close the air control by pushing it in, and you can watch it slow that rate of burn down, and you'll see how it picks up that secondary combustion coming off that feed tube. Look at that combustor fire off. That's why this appliance burns at 0.8 of a gram an hour. All right, we've gone ahead and reloaded the appliance and closed the bypass and currently have it burning at a high rate. One thing I want to point out as we deal with the heating characteristics of a cast iron stove is the fact that, unlike a steel stove, it takes a little bit longer to come up the temperature, but once it comes up the temperature, it really puts out the heat. If you're in a situation where you don't need quite that much heat once you get to that threshold, keep in mind to shut it down a little bit sooner. But that's going to be part of the learning curve that you go through as you understand how this appliance works in each given environment. I'm going to go ahead and close the air control down so you can see how that primary air really forces it into the base of the fire, forcing that front log to burn very aggressively. It actually burns with such ferocity that it'll actually burn a small hole right through that front log. I'll go ahead and I'll shut it down, and you can see, one, how that primary air is forcing through there, but you see that hole? That it's actually boring through that front log. It burns that aggressively. Of course, one thing that's nice about the Rockport and the Cape Cod is not only being cast iron radiant stoves, they also have a great convective capacity. There's an optional 400 CFM fan that you can get on the Rockport, the Evergreen, or the Cape Cod. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and do a quick smoke pen demonstration to show you how effective that blower is. Now keep in mind, due to the high volume of this blower, it will make noise on high, but it's very quiet in the low position. So as I take my smoke pen and I go around the appliance, you can see how that heat just picks up and really radiates off the stove. Now you can see what happens when I put it in the convection chamber. That's with just natural convection coming up from the base of the appliance and coming out of the top of the unit. So again, great natural convection as well as radiant heat. Now let's see what happens when we turn on that 400 CFM fan. As you can see, there's enough volume to accelerate the combustion on the pen itself. It's blowing so hard. I can go ahead and you can see how that picks it up. I'm going to put it to the low position, and you can really see it does a fantastic job of moving a high volume of air. That's on low, and that's unlike any other appliance we manufacture. We've gone through the Rockport in pretty good detail. We've looked at the outside, the inside, the details in the lines, the quality of the European castings, the capacity of the wood, the heating capacity of the appliance is rated up to 1,800 square feet. Now, I have this installed in my home here in Western Washington, and it's 2,200 square feet, and we're using that as our primary heat source. And that's without the fan. So again, your heating capacity will vary by region, and of course, the insulated quality of each home that it goes into. So let's go through the details. Let's review them. Beautiful cast iron, nice viewing area, hybrid fire combustion, standard split fire brick interior, so very durable and easy to replace parts. You've got great additions that you can put on here, like that 400 CFM fan, and of course, we're not going to forget that green start ignition system. Bypass freezy startup, single air control, easy to operate ash pan with high temperature bearing drawer glides, as well as little Teflon pads that go on the bottom of the ash pan itself. So when you're sliding that in and out, it's a very smooth operation where you're not hearing metal on metal grinding. So as you look at this, again, beautiful stove, great heater, good convective capacity, and a great addition to the Lopi lineup.